I don't know what it is about this time of year that always just kind of makes me feel like I want to shop. So even after more than a decade of minimalist living, this time of year I always just kind of get that urge to buy something new or something nice for my home or something fun to get excited about. I think part of the reason is just the seasons changing. So the days are getting shorter and darker. It's already kind of like gray and dreary out. So it's just that little itch to kind of just buy yourself something nice, to kind of, cheer yourself up a bit or have something to look forward to or get excited about. Something nice for your home because you're indoors more. Something nice for your wardrobe to make you feel a little bit more like put together. I wanted to buy a new lamp for our home office because it gets really dark there this time of year, I've learned. So now I'm just like researching all kinds of different lamps and getting really excited about that. Autumn is here, so we might feel like, we want to get a little cozy, maybe buy some autumn decor, some blankets, some candles, something to like comfort ourselves. But I also think that this time of year specifically, just consumerism gets pushed on us even more to this kind of like extreme that we're seeing. Like, what day is it today? Is it like Amazon Prime is coming up, I think? Oh, that's actually today. So by the time you're seeing this video, it will already have been Amazon Prime Day. Then of course Halloween is coming up, so the stores are filled with all kinds of cute like Halloween-y, spooky decor. And then of course there is Black Friday and Christmas, which are coming up really fast. And I just find as soon as October starts, the marketing, the sales, the ads just start going through the roof even more. And even if you're a minimalist like me, or even if you're not and you don't consider yourself a minimalist, but you just like to be more intentional about what you're buying and like what you're spending your money on and what you're consuming and bringing into your home, if you continually get all of these ads for all the pretty things you could buy, it just sparks something. So I thought this would be the perfect time of year to have a little talk about this, how to stop the urge to continually want new things or buy something new, something fancy, something nice, or the impulse shop, and instead focusing on being content with what we already have, practicing gratitude, and just being happy living with less, or just living with what you already have. So basically protecting your peace and your wallet at the same time. Welcome back everyone. Feel free to join me, grab yourself something nice to drink. Little disclaimer before we begin, let me set this down. Little disclaimer, this is not me making this video to tell you that you shouldn't buy anything even during this season. It is not me sitting on my high horse being like, I never buy anything. That's not what this video is going to be about. So if you do want to buy something and you're excited about it, absolutely go for it. That's not the intention of this video to like shame anyone for their choices or anything like that. It's just a kind of a nice voice to counter voice all the voices that we are hearing now, like buy, 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 buy. So I thought this would be a good conversation. But yeah, as always, take from this video what you feel like you can use and leave the rest. And I even have proof because the other day I bought this. I don't know if you can see. It has Nijntje, Miffy, her English name. Nijntje is Dutch. And I have always loved Nijntje. And I was at the HEMA the other day, and the HEMA is like the Dutch Target. And I saw this little bamboo, I don't know, bin. It's officially like Nijntje merch. I thought this was so cute. I broke all my rules. This was an impulse buy. I just got it. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it yet. I didn't think it through. I just felt like, okay, I've walked past this thing for 10 times now. Like every other time I came there to buy something that I did need. And this time I just couldn't resist and I got this one. And I have this in my home now. I have no idea what I'm going to use this for. I do still like it, and I'm considering using this for those little candles, like the little waxing lights that you can use during this time of the year to make things extra cozy during movie night and stuff. So I think I'm gonna use this for that. But still, just to show like I'm not perfect either, and this is all like in good fun. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the first thing that I find super helpful when you feel that urge to just like want stuff, to go out looking for stuff and just kind of go online and compare things or like look for a new whatever it is. It is something that I read in this book recently. I know I talk about this all the time, I'm sorry. It is When Things Don't Go Your Way by Haemin Sunim. It's a great book, I really recommend it. And to my big surprise, one of the things he talks about in this book is decluttering and minimalism. He doesn't really call them that, but that's what he basically is saying. So that was a fun surprise for me. And one of the things I loved is how he talked about why minimalism is so great for protecting our peace. And the way he worded it actually was something new that I had never really considered like that, or like exactly like that before. And it was really eye-opening, and I thought it was really nice. So basically what he says is the reason that buying something that we've been wanting for a while makes us feel kind of happy and nice, at least in the short term, is not necessarily the fact that we now own this thing, but more so the fact that we now finally have kind of scratched that itch and we no longer have something in our brain that we want. So we don't have something continually nagging at us like, yeah, I want a new purse, I want a new purse, I want a new purse. Like we got the purse. So there's nothing like little voice telling us that we want something. We're finally like content. And that's why we kind of feel happy that we now own the purse. And he did make a good point, because he said, if it is actually the purse making you happy, then you would feel that happiness for as long as you had that purse. And I think, in most of our cases, we have our purses for years, so we would feel happy and content for years. But that's not really how it works, is it? So we have this new thing and we're just kind of like, ooh, a little bit happy about it, but that fades pretty quickly, because then we start wanting something else. And then we focus our attention on that, just like the acquiring of it. And that's when we start to feel kind of like antsy again. So that's one of the reasons why I've always been really drawn to minimalism. Not necessarily for, having that label of being like a minimalist, because I'm really not like an extreme minimalist or even like a really rigid minimalist. I'm more of a like loose, practical, cozy minimalist. So it's not exactly that, but I like how it brings me more peace. Because I really do notice when I have something on my mind, like now I'm considering a small piece of furniture for the office. So I've been thinking about it for a while and I don't really know what to do. It's like there's something in your head distracting you from the life that you already have, which is really, really great. I'm so happy with my life. I do have everything I'm ever going to need. And I'm so grateful for it. I am really content with it. And if you can really focus on that feeling, just being really happy with what you already have, instead of always wanting something or seeking something because this is not good enough, or if you could just buy that thing, then your wardrobe would be better, or your home would be more aesthetically pleasing, or if you could just buy all those organizers that you see on TikTok apparently now, where people are restocking milk that they buy, and then they buy a container so that they can pour the milk from the container that it comes in into the container, like a plastic container that they pour it in the fridge, like so many crazy things. If you don't have all of that stuff going on in your head, things are a lot more peaceful. So after having read this, I do really try to focus more on being super happy and grateful with what I already have. And I just take a look around and I see my home through the eyes of someone else. And I'm like, wow, I have a beautiful place. I have a beautiful apartment. I love this here. And I really don't need anything else or anything more. I feel like I'm just a floating head in a whole lot of white. I don't know, I switched shirts like 5 times before I actually pressed record, and now I was just like, no, I cannot switch my shirt and do my hair again. So I just kind of pressed record, but now I'm not sure about wearing a white shirt on camera anyway. The second tip that I have been doing myself and that I really, really recommend, if you feel that urge to like, ooh, that's nice, or, I'm not on social media, so I don't get social media ads. But I know that those are the things that nowadays are like thrown at you all day. If you are on social media, it might make you want to, click on that link and see someone's storefront or buy that sweater that someone's wearing. Like, as soon as you feel that urge, like, ooh, that's nice, just bookmark it. Bookmark it, or write it down somewhere, put it in your shopping cart, but don't click the buy now button immediately. Just think about it for a few days. I always find that as soon as I see something or I think about something, it's like, oh, that's nice. My critical thinking, reasoning part of my brain is not working very well. My, oh, I must have that brain is sort of taking over. And so it really helps if you just let it sink, let it sit for a few days, so that the initial reaction that you had when you saw that item is gone, and now you can really think rationally about it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't get it, just bookmark it, think it over for a few days. Oftentimes I do find that after a few days I'm like, yeah, I could buy it, but I could also not buy it. And then I just don't. And if it is something that you are still excited about, then at least you know, like, this is actually something that I see myself using or loving or wearing. Then you could do your research. So this is where the research starts, because maybe you saw, I don't know, some kind of gadget that you think would be nice to have, or that you could make your life easier or something. Then you could compare, like, are there other brands out there, maybe better, or maybe they are more affordable, or, you know, there are better options. So you could compare, read reviews, actually like look up the person who is selling the thing to see if they're legit. So that's a really important part that you don't want to skip. And I always find it especially helpful to go to the place in my home where I would have that thing. So if it is something for my wardrobe, then I stand in front of my closet. If it is something for the bathroom, I go to the bathroom, etc. And then you just kind of visualize, like, okay, this thing, what if I had this? Maybe it needs electricity, you need to plug it in somewhere. Is there actually even an outlet near where I want to use it? Do I have space for storing this thing? Or would it be like really a nuisance and in the way? So get practical about the item, go to where you actually want to use it, and just kind of like see what it would be like. And if you did that and you're still excited and you did your research and the reviews are great and you really think that this would add value for you, then by all means get it. But at least you will have thought it through. All right, this next one is about people just looking really aspirational and us feeling like maybe we don't measure up, or comparing ourselves to someone looking really put together, and then we feel like, oh, if we just bought her clothes, we could look better too. And it is the idea that appearances can fool you, and material items do not necessarily actually bring happiness. So I remember when I was a little kid, my parents never really had a lot of money. Like, we didn't grow up poor. We did always have food to eat. Our parents could pay for, you know, clothing, schooling, everything we needed was covered. But they needed to work really, really hard for that, and there wasn't actually like money left over at the end of the month. So there was a lot of stress about money with my parents, and if I wanted something, then I would just have to save up my allowance, because my parents most likely couldn't afford to just buy me something extra that wasn't like for my birthday or for Christmas. So if I wanted like a stuffed Pikachu, which I did really want, I would just save up my allowance so that I could buy it. And looking back on it, like, I'm really happy with that kind of upbringing, because it really taught me the value of money. It taught me how to save and everything. Like, just be responsible when it comes to money. But I remember when I was little, sometimes it did kind of bother me. For example, I had this friend who lived in this really, really fancy neighborhood, and she actually lived in a freestanding house. And I don't know if you're familiar with Dutch homes, but freestanding homes are really rare actually, and really just kind of for the rich. So we don't have a lot of space here. This is a very densely populated country, so most people that I know live in apartments. Then some people might live in like a row house, which is kind of like the attached homes that you see a lot here, which is a little bit fancier, more expensive. And then, you know, now we're kind of crossing into the line of actually like being really well off. Those people live in a home that has like 2 attached homes under one roof. And then the actual people who have like serious money can afford a freestanding house. And that's where my friend lived. And I remember the first time that I went home with her after school, I saw her house, I saw her bedroom, which was huge. Like, my bedroom was just a bed. and a little closet for my clothes and stuff, which again was fine. But she had a sleeping area, a sitting area, a playing area in her bedroom, and she had a huge amount of stuffed animals. She had like the really big ones, the fancy ones of like a tiger or a panther and like a huge bear or something. And I was blown away, and I was actually a little bit jealous of all the nice things that she had. I felt like she was living the life. She had all the nice clothes, nice house, nice stuffed animals, huge bedroom. She had a huge backyard. It's like, wow, do people actually live like this? Like, I was actually really impressed by her lifestyle. But my point is that this was the first time that I really saw that just what you see on the outside from someone's life doesn't tell you anything, because that friend also opened up to me, and I'm not going to share exactly like what she said or anything, but she wasn't really happy most of the time with her house, her parents, just the life she was living. She had some issues that she was struggling with, and that's when my eyes kind of opened. Again, I was really young back then. It's like, oh, I didn't expect that. Like, if you have all these things, I just assumed your life would be great. But that's not reality. So oftentimes I feel like people might kind of look up to people who are more well off, or who just really look like really put together, or have the fancy clothing or the fancy car, like a Tesla or something, or like a bigger house. Especially here in the Netherlands with the housing crisis, if you can afford to buy like a nice house, that's like, you're doing very well. And so when you do that and when you compare your lives, like, maybe I would like to get like, I don't know, a nice brand watch or something. I can't even come up with examples. But anyway, you might think like, yeah, I could have a piece of that lifestyle, that aspirational feeling that you might get. But really, it doesn't say anything. You never know. Someone who has a lot of money might actually not be so happy at that time in their life. And someone who doesn't have a lot of money might actually be super happy and grateful and generous. Someone who looks really attractive to you might feel very insecure. And someone who, you know, doesn't necessarily meet the beauty standards of the like conventionally attractive beauty standards might feel like really confident and be really like radiant because of that, and really attractive. So you never know. And if you feel like you want to emulate someone else's lifestyle by buying things that are really just kind of outside of your price range, then don't expect to get what you see in that image, because that's not reality. That's not their real life. You never know someone's full picture. All right, the fourth thing, let me get my tea. This is green tea with, I don't know, some kind of fruit. It's nice. So yeah, the fourth thing that I want to talk about is something that I'm really doing like right now, like since last week. And that is to find ways to make your life nicer, or romanticize things like the fall season in a free way. Just by not buying something. Basically conditioning yourself that if you want to have a nice self-care day, or you want to make things extra nice and cozy, or you want to romanticize something like daily, for example, or this season, that buying something new is not the way to do that. Because that's not really sustainable. Every time you want to do something nice, you have to go out and buy something new for yourself. So trying to find ways that are completely free, using exactly what you already have. So as soon as the fall started, I got a little bit antsy about it myself. I was like, okay, last winter I got kind of a bad winter depression thing going on. And so as soon as it got like dark and gray and rainy, I was like, ooh, where is this going? So I decided, you know what? The winter is coming, so I'm going to just make it nice. And I'm not going to do that by buying a bunch of fall things, but I'm just going to make use of what I already have. I have a couple blankets. I still have some candles that I haven't used up yet. I have a really nice book that I'm reading right now that's like 3,000 pages, so it'll take me a while. I have everything I need. I have my cozy tea. I can do movie nights. I can, when I do yoga, make it extra nice. Like, you know, maybe light a candle or have a cup of tea nearby, some kind of herbal tea. Like, there are so many free ways to make something nicer, and you don't have to actually go out and buy something for that. Also, another really great and helpful tip, I think, especially during the season where ads are out of control and influencers are going crazy with the hauls and the Christmas gift guides and whatever is coming up, Black Friday obviously, to really limit your exposure, or at least curate your exposure to things that make you want to go shopping. So this can be people just sharing things that you are interested in, and I have a really good example for that myself. Or people making you feel worse about yourself, and then you might want to go out and shop to kind of feel better about yourself. So while a large part of the ads and the marketing that we are subjected to on a daily basis is not something that we can really control, like as soon as you go out to a shopping center or something, it's like Christmas gifts and whatever is coming your way. But your social media, for example, is something that you can control and that you can curate. So for example, for me, I'm not really like that into fashion, makeup, skincare a little bit, but not necessarily that much. So that doesn't really bother me, but I am really into home design, home decor, furniture. I love all that stuff. And so, for example, one channel that I follow is Nick Lewis. I really like his videos, all about like interior design and things like that. He's also just a funny guy, and his videos are very entertaining. But I do notice that he's always mentioning like cool IKEA products and beautiful design principles for your home and stuff, and it makes me want to shop. I can't help it. It's like, oh, that's nice. Like, oh, I want to make my my home nice, especially with the winter coming. So I've noticed that watching his videos, I'm always just kind of clicking on links and being like, oh, that's actually quite nice. And that's not really who I am usually. So I've decided to, as much as I love his channel and his videos, to kind of just take a break from it, you know, at least for a little while. So maybe you could do that as well if you're into crafting, for example, and you're always watching people who buy craft supplies or art supplies, makes you want to go out shopping. Just do a little break from it and focus on what you already have and use that. You cannot want what you didn't know existed. And so if you continually subject yourself to all of these images of all these things that you're interested in, it's only a matter of time before you start wanting them. Even if they're like, their price range is a little bit above what you can like easily or comfortably afford, you at least will start wanting them. And that's already like a lot of headspace. Now that we're nearing the end of the video, I would love to know from you, like, are you also experiencing this increased urge to shop and buy nice things for yourself this season of the year? I would love to know. And if you have any tips that I haven't mentioned yet, please also share them in the comments with me and with each other, because I think that could be really interesting. And I also have a video recommendation for you. I was watching this video, I think yesterday. It's from Ellen Lesser. I will link it in the description box. She talked about aspirational creep, and I thought that was a really clever way of describing this feeling of like, ooh, you know, like buy yourself into a slightly better lifestyle than you could perhaps comfortably afford, or, you know, when you're being promoted these really expensive items because you clicked on a link and now they think that you might want to buy that. So she had some really interesting points to share about aspirational creep and how to avoid that. So I will leave her video link in the description box in case you're curious. And lastly, if you enjoy my videos and you would like to have access to more of them and also support the channel while you do that, then consider joining us on Patreon. So I have this Patreon page. I post extra videos, 2 videos a month on there, and some extra like behind the scenes content of my life over there. I've been doing that for a while, so there are, I think, like 115 videos up so far. So a lot to catch up on if you like, and you can join for $5 a month. Of course, you can also cancel easily again anytime. You can kind of just catch up on all the videos there. We also have vlogs, tea time chats, lots of fun stuff. And the income that I make with my Patreon just helps me as a content creator because, yeah, being a content creator, the income that you get from your videos is not very like reliable, or you never know like how your videos are going to do and stuff. It's hard to take breaks when you need them if YouTube is your only thing. So having Patreon for me is just a really great way to feel financially more safe and secure. So it really helps me to pay for business expenses and all the things that come with having a channel. So it's a win-win. So patreon.com/simplehappyzen to sign up. No pressure, of course. I still also really appreciate you all being here on YouTube, and that also really helps. So thank you so much for all your support. I also have a newsletter, by the way, which is completely free. So you can sign up for that on simplehappyzen.com/newsletter, and you will always get a newsletter from me when there's a new video out with a little contemplation for the week, something to think about. So you can do that too. All right, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for being here. Questions, comments, conversations down below. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you all again soon. Bye bye. So the other night, I actually had a dream that I was working at an ad agency, and I had to make all of these ads for all of these really crazy products that really don't exist. I was writing jingles, I had all these songs for these weird ass products. Yeah,